day, everyone. My name is Anna Cho, and I work for the Open University of Hong Kong. And today I will do a presentation on logical linguistic analysis of obscurity in university English writing in Hong Kong. First of all, I need to thank the university for supporting my research work. And here we go, the introduction. The knowledge of logical linguistics, a crucial component of critical thinking, is very important to mastery of academic writing. However, thinking methods, which include logical linguistic analysis, logic, scientific methodology, and fallacy analysis, are seldom compulsorily incorporated into the formal curriculum of undergraduate and postgraduate English writing courses in Hong Kong and in universities in Asia. So what is logical linguistic analysis? Everybody knows that usually when we talked about critical thinking, it's all about logical reasoning. And logical reasoning is mainly about checking the consistency of statements and detecting the validity of arguments. That said, only statements that are grammatical, complete in meaning, and free of obscurity are worthy of logical discussions. In other words, before we go through any sort of validity check and consistency check, we must make sure that the statements are grammatical, complete in meaning, and free of obscurity. And that is what I mean, logical linguistics here. So we can take a look at the examples here. All humans are mortal. All humans are immortal. So these two examples, they hold two opposite truth value. Nonetheless, they are valid propositions that are capable of holding the true value, and readers can judge for themselves whether these claims are true or false. And even for example 3, this man is both dead and alive, which most people find contradictory and confusing. Still, example 3 is a statement which can at least be tested for validity. On the other hand, if there is obscurity in writing, like in examples 4, 5, and 6, let's take a look. Swan is bird, which is ungrammatical, so nobody knows what the statement wants to say, and you cannot really check the consistency and validity of the statement, can you? As for example 5, all swans are, because the sentence is incomplete, so there's obscurity and no one knows what the true value is in the statement. And in example 6, they are birds, so what does they, the pronoun refers to? Nobody knows. So again, because of the ambiguous meaning, we should not actually go through the logical check. And examples 4 to 6, in other words, they are not qualified as statements in logic. And we cannot carry on with the logical check because they have no logical entities. Now that we know so much about obscurity in writing and also the importance of logical linguistics, here comes the research purpose. Because logical linguistics is not formally taught in university courses in Hong Kong, there are many recurrent problems of obscurity in students' writing. So to help EFL students formulate good, sound, solid arguments in their writing, teachers should not only teach grammar in the writing courses, they should also impart to students the knowledge of logical linguistics, which is core to all disciplines, not just English. Research background and methods. This observational study collected 25 argumentative essays written by Year 1 students in the year 2019 and 2020 in the autumn term. These 25 students, they took part in the study, and beforehand they had already passed the public English exam before entering university. And they had also passed a subject called liberal studies when they're in their secondary school, and they're supposed to know something about critical thinking, but none of these students had any formal training about logic, critical thinking, not to mention logical linguistics. So the research method is to go through a textual analysis of the 25 students' essays and to check and see whether there's any kind of obscurity in their writing. And quite unfortunately, yes, there are a lot of examples of obscurity, ambiguity, vagueness, and incompleteness in their writing. So in this paper, in this presentation of my paper, I will go through all 5 types of obvious obscurity found in students' writing, namely lexical ambiguity, referential ambiguity, syntactic ambiguity, vagueness, and incompleteness in meaning. The first kind, lexical ambiguity, refers to words with multiple meanings, and they often cause confusion to readers. Here are 2 examples. In sentence A, it says, some people go vegan because of religious reasons. Meat is not allowed because they think that it is dirty. So what does this word dirty means? Does it mean that because people caused pain to the animal and spiritually this is a dirty concept, a selfish concept, a sinful concept in religion? Or could it be that the surface of the meat is dirty and therefore anyone who eats the meat will be sick and they would fall ill and feel not healthy anymore? So nobody knows exactly what the meaning of dirty is. And in example B, similarly, nobody knows what good means here. Vegetables contain high fiber content. It may be hard to digest. It is not good for our intestinal function. We've been told the opposite normally. So vegetables are good for people, and because of the high fiber content in vegetables, there is better peristalsis, etc. So what is the definition of good? Must good food be easy to digest and low in fiber content? It's not explained in the writing. The second type of obscurity is called referential ambiguity. A responsible writer is expected to employ a consistent point of view when writing an academic essay, but obviously here in this example, an excerpt found in my student's writing, the student fails to use appropriate referential pronouns in writing. He also fails to keep the consistent point of view. At the beginning, the subject is a person, and the student tries to use he or she to refer to the person. But then in the middle of the paragraph, in the second sentence, suddenly the subject becomes plural, and the student uses they to refer to the subject. And then afterwards, even more confusing, in the third sentence, suddenly the subject becomes you, which perhaps refers to the reader, and this is very confusing for readers. A third kind of obscurity found in my students' writing is called syntactic ambiguity, which refers to the presence of 2 or more possible meanings within one sentence or sequence of words. And here are some examples found from my students' essays. Like A, not eating meat or seafood products is known as a vegan diet. But here, does it mean that you have to be a vegan by not eating meat and not eating seafood products? Or does it mean either you don't eat meat or that you don't eat seafood products and you will be passed for a vegan? And this is very confusing. And in sentence B, phrase B, we also kind of see a syntactic ambiguity too. Like, does this student mean that there is a book of diets and that there is this therapy about nutrition? Or could it be that there is a book of diet and nutrition therapy? And so this is truly confusing for readers. A fourth kind of obscurity is called vagueness, which refers to the lack of precision. And scholars found that the actual meanings of many powerful and emotionally provocative words in public discourse are usually vague, like the word love, or right, or politics, or ideology in people's speeches usually can be confusing because of the abstract concepts. And I do find some of these in my students' writing as well, like the word people. Okay, so nobody really knows what this word people refers to. Could it mean the young people, old people, people with chronic diseases, or whatsoever? And in sentence B, this word normal is again an abstract word because nobody knows where the norm is, and it can be quite meaningless and directionless now that you talk about normal. The fifth kind of obscurity, it's incompleteness in meaning. So it's different from vagueness because the obscurity does not come from the abstract nouns. Rather, obscurity comes because the author fails to provide readers with full and accurate information in understanding passage. As in this example, this excerpt found in my student's essay. Refusing to eat meat can also cause health problems. So you see, the problem here, the obscurity here, it's refusing to eat meat for how long? For 1 year, for 10 months, or for 1 week? So the duration of time is of crucial importance, but it's not mentioned here. Vegans cannot absorb enough nutrients, but that is not a big problem because they can also have some pills where they can get the supplement intake still. So must they always get the nutrients from food, from the diets? Not necessarily, but since this is not provided in the passage, so we have meaning incompleteness. The concluding remark is that now, as we can see, numerous obscure words, phrases, and expressions of various kinds are frequently found in my students' writing. And one main reason for this failure can be that logical linguistics, not to mention logical thinking, it's not officially included in the English writing courses. So to conclude, it is highly recommended that EFL English teachers should consider teaching logical linguistics in academic writing classes rather than only focusing on mechanics like vocabulary, grammar, and punctuations. Thank you for listening, and here are the references. Thank you.